Coach, when such huge trade news goes down against the team that you're also playing, like, are there any emotions associated with that for the team you got to address or refocus or anything like that that comes with it?
Not really. I mean, we're just focused on this game, focused on our team. Obviously, we got to know who's in and who's out. That's always always part of it. And we listen to the news. Obviously, who do we have to prepare for? But like I said, we're focused on the Cavs and how we can get better and understand that this part of the business.
With within the same breath, basically, Evan Mobley the other night talking about being an all-star, and he says, it's surreal in one breath, and the next breath he says it makes him want more and more. Is that just go to show like the competitor that he is?
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad he said that, right? Because that's sometimes when you have an incredible accomplishment, you can just kind of rest on your laurels. It's funny. I saw him the past 2 days, like working harder than he's ever worked, like on his just individual game. Just my observation. Watch him at his basket. He stayed half hour longer than everybody, yesterday. So I think he knows his own potential. Like he's got an understanding of the talent. My coach in college used to say, with talent comes responsibility, right? And he gets that. So I'm excited to where he can go. Like we've said it all year. You've said it. He's just scratching the surface.
Will.
Hey, Will.
Hi, Coach. My name is Will. I'm a Cavs Kids Club junior reporter. It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for coming.
I watched a lot of games, and I've noticed a lot about the ball movement. The guys really spread the ball around, and I was wondering if ball movement is something important to you as a coach.
First of all, I'm so impressed with your communication skills, your eye contact. You weren't just reading the question. You had great eye contact. That's really, really impressive. Well, thank you. That's something we ball movement is something we preach, and it's something we practice. It's something we show on film. It's a constant conversation, and I think with ball movement, it's a little bit like the more guys that touch it, the happier everybody is, right? We spread the wealth, we would like to say, and I think it breeds chemistry and the last part of it is I think the fans like that type of basketball. Right? It's aesthetically pleasing for the fans to watch. So great question. I'm glad you brought it up.
Congrats on yours and the team's all-star selections. Before you head to San Francisco, what is your message to the team and fans heading into the break and going into the second half of the season?
Yeah, to celebrate our accomplishments, but also understand there's more, hopefully more to come. Right, we want more. We're just not satisfied. We're not just stopping at All Star and saying, hey, we've had a great year. I think we have a hungry and ambitious team that wants to do more in the playoffs and have a really, really special season.
Thanks, Will.
Thanks,
Chris.
Will. Great job.
Sure. Hey, Kenny, how's it going? As somebody that is basically an NBA lifer, what was your reaction to the trade last night?
I mean, yeah. Just used to this, used to it. I don't think I was as surprised. Like if I was 2 years in the league, I probably wouldn't be as surprised. So nothing surprises me anymore. Yeah, really wasn't that surprised. Just to be honest.
Among the things that Nico Harrison said about this trade is that he sees Anthony Davis and the other big guy working very similar to Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. He singled out the
said
Cavs.
that.
Yes.
Interesting.
When you hear something like that, what goes through your mind?
Well, Chris, what we've been talking about all year, defensive versatility, and I think what Nico's probably referring to, he's been in the playoffs, been to the conference finals, and every series is different, and sometimes you need to play two bigs, sometimes you need to play, your spread lineup, sometimes you need to go really small and play a small ball lineup. You need all options. So I think that's what he's referring to. And they can similarly can do the same, right, with this trade. So very interesting take. I agree with him in the sense that it's going to give them more versatility and being able to play two bigs together.
Is it like validating that what you've done with the two bigs has worked and caught other teams' attention like that?
To be determined. Let's see how it works out for us in the playoffs. But again, I know from my comfort level, and that was part of the thing I really pushed in my interview with Kobe. Like, yes, we need this. I'd love to keep them together because I think in the playoffs you need various ways to play, and I'm glad that combination has been, Jared and Ev have been excellent together this year.
Thank you. How was
Yes.
my eye contact?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
And
My
I could
diction
see
was
you were
okay.
focused on it. Yeah.
Danny.
You've mentioned recently about, with the two big stuff and going back to in Miami, talking about how it's kind of coming back in
Yeah.
the NBA a little bit. Why do you think the NBA is cyclical like that?
Oh, Dan, that's a greit question. Is everything cyclical? Like fashion, sports, right? Like, I think the NFL is similar. Like, you watch it, right? It goes from run to all pass, and then now the running game back and is back, and so maybe style of play isn't as important as we think. It's about the players and fitting the players you have to what wins. Does that make sense? So maybe we overrate that a little, like, two bigs or two, going small. I thought with the Warriors, like, going small with Draymond, but Draymond had a 7'2" wingspan, right? Like 6'6". Well, no, you could play that way because he was so good at playing the 5 position, and then could go to the 4. So it's really about the talent of the players, but it's kind of cool for the fan and the public. This thing changes. The league is changing, and it'll probably go back to small ball at some point, and then go back to big. So fascinating.
And then recently we've seen Jaylen Tyson have a bigger opportunity because of the guys
Yeah.
on the wing that have been out. What can getting that sort of opportunity for a guy that's been trying to stay ready all year do at this point in his rookie season?
Yeah, it bodes well for us, I think, because injuries are going to happen again, like they just are. It's just a fact, of this league. So it gives me more confidence to throw him in there. You can argue even playoffs, right? Here's that versatile wing that can play a role, and his defense is really what stood out to me. That's the only to me, make threes, miss threes. It's kind of like, can you defend your position? Can you rebound at your position? And he's small sample size, but he's given the coaching staff more confidence. Man, we can throw him in there. And it wasn't, these minutes, like you said, it wasn't in garbage time minutes. These were real NBA minutes in games we were really competing to win. They were important minutes. So bodes well for him and us in the future.
Right.
Sorry to go back to it one more time, but with the understanding that you're focused on what you guys are doing.
Yeah.
Trade only happened last night, but do you give yourself a moment to envision what a LeBron and Luka team and offense looks like?
No, I haven't envisioned that. Listen, I don't know. I always say I'm a player advocate, right? Like, I just love, I love seeing great players. I love seeing great players play together. I mean, for the fan, it's fascinating. It's interesting. Positive thing for the league. And then, you could say, how about AD and Kyrie together? How about, like, it's fun. What makes it a great league, that great players can team up, and you can see how's that going to work. Is it going to, how long is it going to take for it to take off and all those? Yeah, I mean, I read it. I'm an NBA. I'm a coach and I'm part of the league, but I'm a fan too, and I like the rhetoric. I like writing and hearing what you guys have to say about it. It's part of the fun of the league.